welcome to yet another episode of Deliciously Plant-Based with me, Kalindi Bakshi. So far we have been traveling along and exploring the world of plant-based goodness. We have done so many things, we have cooked so many delicious meals, and I hope all these meals and all this cooking that we are doing here inspires you to start your own journey, right? So this Deliciously Plant-Based is for everyone, and at every stage, you are trying to, for those who are trying to either start eating healthy or they're already in their plant-based journey and they are finding, sort of like need to explore more and, try new recipes, try to incorporate more healthy ingredients in what they're already cooking. So we try to cover everything here, right? And we are just seeing that you guys are loving what we are doing right now, and we hear a lot of you asking for new things, a lot of requests, and right now what we are trying to do is accommodate all of you, right? Because we have plenty of plant-based recipes and plenty to learn and explore in the plant-based world. So some of you requested healthy desserts, and we are serving healthy desserts today, right? So what is it about desserts that's going to be healthy? So many things. First, to start with ingredients. Most desserts, they're made with refined flour. They have a lot of dairy, butter, heavy cream. Then they have a lot of unhealthy oils. Then they have a lot of, and of course, desserts are sweet, so they will have sugar, right? So we here have found alternatives to everything you can think of, and still deliver you delicious desserts. Okay, so my favorite dessert, or anything I call dessert, has to have chocolate in it. So I'm going to be cooking or baking a healthy chocolate brownie. So how do you make a chocolate brownie healthy? Number one, the key ingredient in a brownie, flour and sugar. Try to replace it with a healthier alternative. So today we are going to make black bean brownies. Yes, you heard me correctly, black beans. We are going to make our brownies out of black beans, and we are going to replace the white sugar, the refined sugar, with pure maple syrup, right? So these are the two key things. There are a lot of other ingredients. Of course, we're going to bake brownies. So we're going to have baking powder. We're going to have, some flour, which we are going to use gluten-free oat flour today. Basically, yes, you can buy the oat flour from the market, from the supermarket. But what I do is I always buy a lot of oats, and you guys know, by now, you guys have been watching, and everything that I make, somehow all these healthy ingredients creep into those dishes. So I'm going to use oat flour. What I do is usually I buy the rolled oats, which I use them every day, and just grind them using a food processor or my NutriBullet. So basically put whole oats in it and just blend them, and they become a wonderful oat flour, right? So you don't have to kind of buy oats and oat flour. So that's my easy fix for making oat flour. So friends, one of my favorite things, my assistant in the kitchen, is my food processor. Most of these amazing recipes come together in no time when I have my assistant next to me. If you remember, we made the burgers, healthy burgers, everything came together here. We make so many delicious treats, and shredding, chopping, rough chopping, everything happens in here. And today our brownies will come together right with my assistant. When my assistant gets to work, it just creates the most delicious recipes. So off we go, friends. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to add here is my black beans. So what I did with the black beans, I used canned black beans, cooked, right? And when you are making brownies, the best thing is to get either low sodium or no salt black beans, because you're making a sweet dish, so you just want to make sure that the black beans are not salty. So I have here about 1.5 cup of black beans, which I'm going to put it in the food processor. right? Let me put them all. So when you start with this black beans, what you have to remember is make sure you drain the can. If you're using canned black beans, drain them, rinse them out thoroughly, and just put them on a baking sheet or, like, you know, on a kitchen towel, so they are relatively all the water is sort of so absorbed by the kitchen towel, and there'll still be something on there, but it's sort of like more like dry, right? So 1.5 cup of black beans, there go in here. Then our oat flour, which will be the binding agent here. It's about 1/2 cup of oat flour. Okay. Along with the oat flour, we will have, because we are making chocolate brownies, so of course, chocolate will be there. So we have this unsweetened cocoa powder. Okay, make sure it's unsweetened cocoa powder. So about 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And what I'm going to do is, these are basically our dry ingredients. So whenever we are baking, a good rule of thumb is make sure you prep the dry ingredients first and then mix the dry ingredients into wet ingredients. Okay, so I'm putting like all our dry ingredients in the food processor. I have about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I'll be adding 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Something, friends, I always, whenever I'm making other recipes besides baking, I always say, hey, put your ingredients, don't worry about measurements. But here's something, when you're baking, something that you have to make sure that your measurements are accurate, right? So make sure you're using, teaspoons, cups, and measuring cups, all those good things. Baking is combination of art and science, so you want to make sure that you have right ingredients in the right amount, and so the product will always be great. So friends, everything is going to come together in my assistant, okay? And so I added the dry ingredients, and what I'm going to do is just pulse it a couple of times so our dry ingredients mix together. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the wet ingredients. So our wet ingredients here, and just add directly into it, so you're not mixing and adding. So our wet ingredients here are 1/3 cup of maple syrup. And here, in this recipe, one thing I can tell you is you can add or take out the sweetness. If you want a little less sweeter, you add a little less maple syrup. If you want more sweeter, then on top of maple syrup, you can add couple of tablespoons of coconut sugar or brown sugar. Okay, so there goes my maple syrup, and then I'm going to add, you need some fat while you're baking, right? So that is my olive oil. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of olive oil. You can add vegetable oil, you can add coconut oil, but for baking I prefer olive oil. And the olive oil I use is, it's a milder, especially for baking, I use mild olive oil, so that the flavor is, you don't get, so the flavor is not that strong, the oil flavor is not that strong. So, and then another flavor is vanilla. I'm going to add about, let's say 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. This is pure vanilla extract. So about 2 teaspoons. This is already, the flavor, the aroma is already seeping in. Okay, so I added 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then off we go here once again. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend it really well so that all the ingredients come together and we have our brownie batter ready. And just make sure that it's a smooth batter, okay? So blend it very properly, very nicely. It looks like, my assistant has done a really nice job. Let's just check, okay? and a little bit of taste. Yum, yum. The brownie batter tastes just like a brownie batter. I'm going to blend it a little more so that all the, the beans are perfectly blended. And again, at this point, if you feel that you want to add a little more sweetness, go for it. And another thing is I'm going to make a chocolate ganache on top. And I'm also going to add something else to it. And this is a brownie, guys. This is a chocolate brownie. So no chocolate brownie can be complete without chocolate chips. And you know something? There's nothing like a lot of chocolate chips. So go for it. Be generous with chocolate chips. That is one ingredient I'll tell you, do not miss adding in this. Otherwise, it's not a chocolate brownie, not a true chocolate brownie. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to add about, let's say, half a cup of this amazing chocolate chips. This, semi-sweet, dairy-free chocolate chips. And after you add chocolate chips, don't blend too much. Just give it like, a couple of pulses, that's it. And if you think this is less chocolate chips, go for a little more. Because as I said, this is the ingredient that you keep adding, just, the end result is going to be fantastic. So don't shy away from this ingredient. And do not omit it. I'm going to tell you that would be the biggest mistake. Okay? There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I have already preheated my oven to 350, and I have a 8x8 brownie pan ready. I put a parchment paper in there, and I'm just gonna put a little bit, with a little bit of oil. I'm just going to add to the sides so that our brownie doesn't stick to the sides of the pan. Okay. And just like that, I'm going to use my little brush, my oil brush, and just make sure that all the sides are nicely oiled. The pan is greased nicely. Okay. And then off in the oven, we just put the beans in this, the bean batter, our brownie bean batter. Just make sure that it's nicely greased, all the sides. Okay. Then, here one of the things, sometimes I also add walnuts to it. And believe it or not, this chocolate walnut brownie is divine. But today we are going to go for just chocolate chips. And, okay. This is our brownie batter, our delicious brownie batter. Ooh. It smells divine. It looks so good. So heavenly. I'm going to get all the batter out of my food processor. I don't want to leave anything in there. And this batter, you can also eat this batter, huh? If you don't have enough patience to bake it, go forward, take a spoon and dig in. Highly recommend digging in. Okay, let's get it all out. Everything out in this baking pan. And for those who are also eating gluten-free, this is a great way to make your dessert. Next thing I'm going to do here is just spread the batter nicely in the pan. I'm going to show you in a bit, okay? I'm going to spread it in the pan. Okay. Just make sure you spread it very nicely. So you get a nice layer of evenly baked brownies without any, you know, refined sugar, without any white flour, without any, you know, processed ingredients. All the ingredients that you're using in this are really good and, you know, relatively and also, of course, healthy. So here it is. I have already spread our brownie batter here in the pan, and you know what? I'm tempted to add even more chocolate chips. You can never go wrong with more chocolate chips. More the merrier in the world of chocolate chips, okay? And these are dairy-free, semi-sweet chocolate chips, so even better. And there we go. This baby goes in the oven for about 20 minutes, and then 20 minutes, and then we'll come back and check how it's doing, right? If it needs more time, we'll give it more time. If it's done, we will just dig in. To top our brownie, we are going to make a chocolate ganache. I mean, as I keep saying, there's nothing like more chocolate. And a smooth, silky chocolate ganache would go so well on top of these brownies. And it's going to be a chocolate heaven. It's going to be death by chocolate. So traditionally, a chocolate ganache is made with equal amounts of chocolate and heavy cream. So here we are going to use, of course, our dairy-free chocolate, and then we are going to replace the heavy cream with full-fat coconut milk. And those two will combine and make a silky ganache which will go on top of our brownies. And my God, I can't wait for that deliciousness. See, I told you, plant-based is never boring. Plant-based, you're not going to miss anything. Everything is possible in plant-based, okay? You just gotta try. So friends, let's make our smooth and silky chocolate ganache. Okay, so for the chocolate ganache, what I'm going to do is, in this pan, I'm going to add about half a cup of, of coconut milk, my full-fat coconut milk. So you see, this is so thick and creamy. And then this one is gonna go on the stove for approximately, I would say, you know, until it starts simmering on the side. You don't wanna boil it, you just want it hot enough so our chocolate melts into it, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop this chocolate in small pieces. And so once the chocolate is chopped in small pieces, make sure they're small pieces so that, you know, it melts right away in the coconut milk, right? So while our coconut milk will simmer on the stove, I'll just chop the chocolate really quickly, and then there goes our ganache. And see how easy it is. All these, you know, terms like ganache and this, it just sounds very kind of like, oh, out of the world, but think about it. It's just basically mixing chocolate in a thick, creamy liquid. And for us, our healthy coconut milk, right? And that's our replacement for the heavy cream in ganache. A healthier alternative, a dairy-free alternative, good for you, good for your body, good for the environment. So there's nothing's impossible in the plant-based world. All you gotta do is look around, look for it. And you know, in today's world, every supermarket has a plant-based aisle, and plant-based aisles are exploding. So ingredients are available easily, right? It's not that, you know, just thinking about not availability of ingredient and thinking about you're gonna miss this and that. That shouldn't deter you. So my chocolate is almost chopped. You see all this goodness. Ooh. Chopping a chocolate bar is so satisfying. and knowing that what's going to come out of it, even better, right? So I have chopped approximately equal amount of chocolate, you know, that equal amount of chocolate and to the coconut milk. So my coconut milk, I'm just going to just simmering a little bit. While the coconut milk is simmering, we're going to add our, once it simmers, we're going to put the coconut milk in the heat-proof bowl, right? And then add the chocolate little by little. So wait till you see the goodness. So at this point, the coconut milk is ready. You know, it's almost simmered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all this chopped chocolate to a heat-proof bowl, right? Okay, all the chocolate is in. And then little by little, I'll be adding our hot coconut milk, not hot, but like, you know, we're simmering coconut milk to it. And then let the chocolate melt. Just mix it. And as you guys can see, the chocolate's already melting. And see how easy this was? We have our ganache ready now. Once all the hot chocolate, hot coconut milk goes in it, I just keep saying hot chocolate, and it is hot chocolate. Once all the coconut milk goes in it, it's going to be nice, creamy, and smooth ganache. And you know, you can make this ahead of time. You can put it in the refrigerator, and whenever you want it, you can just, you know, microwave it for a few seconds, right? But remember, when you microwave it, I would go like in increments of 30 seconds, then, you know, take it out of the microwave, mix it, and then again go for 30 seconds until you get the desired consistency. So this, you can use it with so many different, like you can make hot chocolate out of it, right? So you have this thick chocolate here, and then you can put it on ice cream or nice cream, whichever you prefer to eat. So this is your non-dairy ganache. You can use it so many different ways. And you know what? We didn't add any dairy or any you know, unhealthy ingredients to it, right? So, and I had the block of dark chocolate, which is also very healthy. You eat a block of, not a block, sorry. Eat a small portion of chocolate every day. It's going to give you healthy fats. Chocolate has healthy fats in it. So here it is. We have our ganache ready. Now we are just waiting for our brownies. Once the brownie is out, we are going to let it cool down for a little bit. Like I would say about, you know, give it a good half an hour or so to cool down at room temperature. And then add this wonderful silky, ooh, look at that, ganache to it on top. And you know what, after you add the ganache, since the ganache is liquid, let it cool down. You can put it in the refrigerator or let it cool down at room temperature, and you have your delicious brownies ready. So friends, looks like our brownies are ready. Now let me go pull them out of the oven and experience the deliciousness. Okay. And look at this. They are ready. And now look at this. These are ready and done. Yes, but we'll still have to wait for a little bit. We'll have to wait about 10-12 minutes for it to cool down a little bit so it's easy to cut it. Okay? And once it cools down, we are going to add our delicious ganache, our glaze that we made, the chocolate ganache that we made. Okay? So just wait a few minutes until we are actually ready to dig in. And yes, now our delicious brownies have cooled down, and now it's ready to dress them up. And this smooth and silky ganache is gonna go on top of the brownies. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. Just go spread it all over the brownies. And then, you know, sorry friends, we'll still have to wait a little bit. We'll have to let the ganache cool down. I mean, I know, this is so tempting, but you know, it's worth the wait. chocolate brownie topped with chocolate ganache, and it is delicious just by itself. However, if you must, you can add a dollop of vegan vanilla ice cream, and then that's what we call a party, right? So here it is. Let's, I'm gonna pop it in the fridge so it gets cooled down faster, because I cannot wait. I can't wait to dig in. So here it is. Look at that. Look at that deliciousness. I can't wait. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm so impatient. I'm getting so impatient. I'm gonna pop it on here. And just for the fun, right? Let me do this. A bite into delicious brownies. You don't even have to tell anyone what the ingredients are. You can just serve them, and then you can reveal it. Then let people keep guessing, how did you make a brownie with black beans? But friends, you can. And we did it today. And so will you. So hope you enjoyed this sweet, delicious episode of Deliciously Plant-Based with me. For recipes, you can always go to Plantology Fuel website. You can check us out on Instagram. And remember, you can only watch us on MANATV International. And also, to find out what else we have going on, cooking, baking in our kitchen, stay tuned. Follow MANATV on Facebook. Until we meet again, hope you have a delicious week. Thank you, friends.